The next challenge candidates, and that challenge has been filed by David Roach. Is Mr. Roach here today? Okay. Mr. McLaughlin?
Yes.
You sit here, please.
Again, this is for Mr. McLaughlin. The filer was David Roach, and it was because of a prior primary record and that the CAN 42 was incomplete.
So in our tab,
It would be number one.
What are the CAN 42 anyways? I don't know what it is.
that's your declaration of candidacy.
Can you show me what it looks like? I'm not even sure what it is.
The challenge is
Like that? Okay. How do I pull that out?
how do you want to handle this without the challenger being here?
Yeah. Mr. McLaughlin, you
We just move to dismiss it because we don't have a party advocating, like a complaint in court. There's not a party to present evidence against it, and we don't have any evidence, and the respondent doesn't need to enter into evidence. All we have is a paper. But I'd say we just move to dismiss because we don't have evidence before us on the challenge because the challenger doesn't come before us. I don't know if we can do that, Mr. Chair.
Well, let me ask.
I'd be comfortable with it.
Let me ask our counsel this. It's my understanding that within the candidate filing challenge itself, the challenger is supposed to present facts that support the challenge.
Correct. I mean, in this case, the CAN 1, the candidate filing challenge, difficult to read. It has an area for the following facts are known to me and lead me to believe that the individual listed above is ineligible to be a candidate for this office, and then he wrote in what he believes the basis is. And of course, the office has the CAN 42 as part of its documentation for the election.
Well, but when he writes, are you talking about where he says ACEB, electronic election board, see voters registration record in CAN 42 and CAN 12? Are you saying he writes in, or is there something else we have?
No, I'm saying where he hand wrote in under subpart 6 in the general information section on the CAN 1. It says no Republican nor any other, etc. I have a difficulty reading that, but no Republican or any other primary or general election voting record. No GOP chairman letter, CAN 42 filing incomplete, defective. So that's the information that leads him to believe that the candidate is ineligible.
So on that point, well, let's go back to Mr. Pace. I mean, the document does set forth facts. It is a challenge. The challenger is not here. Is the challenger, is there a requirement that the challenger be here?
I saw no requirement to that effect in the code. The challenger does carry the burden of proof, and so I guess the question will be, is the documentation that the office has in conjunction with the statement there listing the basis for the challenge.
Chairman Harden, I'm reasonable. I have a similar complaint with Mr. McLaughlin, and I've got the evidence right here, ready to give you right now.
Yeah. We will take your challenge up in due course. All right, so with regard to the fact that the challenger is not here, Mr. Hayes has moved to dismissed on that basis. However, it appears that the challenger is not required to be here. Is there a second on that? So let's go ahead and take a look at what, again, Mr. Roach has filed. And first thing I would like to ask Ms. Mazur is with respect to this candidate's voting history. I suppose we'd have to hear from Mr. McLaughlin, but what is the rule with respect to a candidate's filing history or voting history that would make him or her eligible or ineligible?
Well, the code section dealing with the form of declaration is Indiana Code 3-8-2-7, and sub 8.4 provides that there must be included on the form a statement of the candidate's party affiliation, which can be met by, well, I'll just read it. For purposes of this subsection, a candidate is considered to be affiliated with a political party only if any of the following applies. A, the most recent primary election in Indiana in which the candidate voted was a primary election held by the party with which the candidate claims affiliation, or B, if the county chairman of the political party with which the candidate claims affiliation and the county in which the candidate resides certifies that the candidate is a member of the political party. So there would need to be either an indication that the candidate voted with the party he claims affiliation with on the form, or there must be a certificate from the party chair confirming his affiliation with the party.
And did Mr. McLaughlin indicate a party affiliation?
He indicated a Republican.
Yes, but he did not.
Yeah, he indicated the Republican Party.
But he did not check a box for, I meet the requirement because he voted in the most recent primary with that party, or the county chairman has certified that he's a member of the party, and there's no attached party chairperson certification. So those are left blank.
So let's focus on that issue. Mr. McLaughlin, what do you want to present or say to us with respect to your prior voting history?
Well, I'm from Michigan, and I'm a registered voter for the state of Michigan. And I'm a Republican. I've been a Republican since I was 18 years old. My whole family is, my brothers, sisters, my parents. I've always voted Republican in Michigan. I used to live in Georgia. I voted Republican in Georgia. I live in Florida. I voted Republican in Florida. Washington, D.C., voted Republican.
But you never voted in the state of Indiana?
No, I didn't, because no one told me I had to register. I just thought, because I voted for the last election in Michigan for Trump. I've been here for 6 years, and I was influenced to run for mayor when people in Fort Wayne. They just want some changes, and that's why I ran. I can make a difference in this city. The city needs help.
Just to be clear, is it my understanding that you're not registered in Indiana, or did you?
I am registered. I am registered.
You just haven't voted in Indiana?
Right. I just haven't voted.
And did you obtain a certification from the party chairman?
Honestly, I didn't know where to go.
So you did not obtain that?
No, because I didn't know how to do it. This is my first time. Last time I was going to run for mayor was Detroit in 2011. But that was, I told my father I wasn't ready at the time. So he told me to run for mayor for Fort Wayne. All I want, I want to make a difference, okay? I want to be, I'm not doing it for myself. I just want to make a change, okay?
Do you have anything else to say about the challenge?
Well, he's not here, so he can't fight against me.
That's a good point. Members, do you have any other questions for Mr. McLaughlin?
Sir, the box here, you fill this declaration of candidacy out,
I can't see
right?
it.
And you got this box here, right? The first real box you fill in your name, your address, and then take a look there where it says what we're talking about,
Yeah.
where you have those two boxes.
The problem is,
Can I ask you? Yeah. Can I ask you? So, do you recall as you stand here reading that section of the declaration?
I forgot to mark it. I forgot to mark a few things.
But when you filled this out, you couldn't mark either box, right? You couldn't say you voted in the Republican primary. The last election that you voted in a primary, you voted in Indiana, because you never voted in an Indiana election, right? So you couldn't mark that box when you filled this out. And you apparently hadn't talked with the county chair of the Republican Party. And when you filled this out, did you realize that you couldn't mark either of those boxes?
No.
Well, how did you miss this?
I just missed it.
You dismissed it?
No, I missed it.
You missed it?
Right,
You
I missed it.
Do you have any other explanation for why you didn't fill this
I
out?
just missed it.
All right, thank you. I have a question, Council. Do candidates have an opportunity to cure their candidate filing? Is there any authority of us to allow a cure of the candidate filing so that we could give Mr. McLaughlin the opportunity to talk with Mr. Shine and see if Mr. Shine would authorize him as a Republican candidate?
I know of no such authority. I believe that those declaration of candidacy forms are to be completed, turned in with the required information by the noon filing deadline on the given date before the election. Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point. I think they can be amended before the filing deadline, but not, I mean,
There's no mechanism to amend afterwards? You know, ever seen that?
Okay, well, do you have anything else to say, Mr. McLaughlin? Do you have any other evidence or any other?
I just like to get a chance to run for mayor. That's why I asked. You know.
I'm going to vote, I'm going to make a motion, sir, that I don't know what would the motion be termed? That we disqualify the candidate?
uphold the candidate challenge, is that?
And then the result of that is?
That the candidate's name will not appear on the ballot.
That's my motion. I really appreciate your interest in Fort Wayne. You're real sincere and authentic. One of the things running for mayor is you got to dot the i's and cross the t's next time. Okay. All right. So I move that we accept the challenge and remove the candidate from the ballot.
Second. All right. There's a motion to approve or, I guess, validate the challenge and the effect of moving Mr. McLaughlin from the ballot. It's been seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The next challenge is a challenge filed by David Roche against Eric Tipton.